Okay, it's Monday, January 29th at 12:42 p.m. on the East Coast, and this is Easy with Sheila with a lunchtime update. Hi, Sheila.
Hi, how are you today?
I'm good.
Okay, so we began this morning with Randy still on the witness stand, and the government was doing their cross-exam. And, you know, just really some basic, in my mind, some very basic clarification questions. Again, though, Ms. Bolto, I feel I have a lot of compassion for this young lady because she's usually so nervous and very, very adversarial instead of questioning. You know what I mean? I don't know. Anyway, that's a personal observation. She really didn't have much that she was trying to trip him up on it, if you ask me. Now, Katie, of course, takes really much better notes. She's not real close to me at the moment, but actually she's walked around the corner. I don't even know where she went. But then, of course, Heather was able to begin her cross-examination of Randy, which I thought was excellent because she was able to draw out quite a bit of the facts from Randy, you know, in specific questioning.
Yes.
And, you know, where Randy was just allowed to give a factual narrative for himself, Heather is able to draw him out to specifics.
Can you pick out some of those specifics that she was drawing out of him?
Sure. Specifics like, you know, when, you know, well, she began, of course, back at the very beginning of his own factual narrative about being in the military and what he learned in regards to the birth certificate being on bank bond paper back in the military, and who specifically did he learn those things from. And, you know, it happened that it was another service member that drew his attention to that information back then, if I understood correct what he said. It sounded like he said another service member. Pardon me, I was drinking water. So she started there, and she really drew him through his entire narrative. And for some reason, I'm feeling awfully scrambled all of a sudden. You want to talk with Lisa? Do you mind, Lisa? You're scrambled too? It's very weird. I thought so too. I feel very scrambled all of a sudden. Lisa said it started for her in the courtroom too.
Yeah, okay.
Right here. Corona, right? Okay, thank you. So I find that odd in and of itself that we both feel very scrambled, and we weren't sitting anywhere near each other. And I think Katie must have walked out or something. She's not around here right now. Okay. So I find that kind of interesting that we're both scrambled, first of all.
Yep. Don't give it any more attention, though.
Okay.
Because that is so. it's
okay. Well,
it's been given to you.
Okay. Oh. All right. Well, let me see if I can just tell you what I've got, and then if it's not in order, just take it as it comes.
Great.
So, first of all, I want to say that she was very specific. Heather was very specific as she was asking her questions. She drew out information in regards to dates because it's very clear to Randy and to Heather that some of the dates on some of these things have been changed.
Yes.
Including the Facebook post that they made a big deal out of that he supposedly posted on the 3rd, showing that he paid off all his debts, and asked me how. And what we just learned from sitting here at the table with Christian Alexander, because I didn't even know you could do this, Christian said, oh yeah, you can backdate a post. You can go in and change a post. I did not know that. And I can't say that that's true, as I have not done that. However, I find that kind of interesting and telling. And, of course, I know that anything can be changed and messed around with if you know the right people and know what you're doing.
Well, and if you have someone inside that no such agency, then
well, exactly.
Then he can easily do it.
Right. Exactly. So, very very specific questions about dates, and in all honesty, the government did not object too much because actually, you know, as we all know, Heather and Randy have been very open and honest about everything and always have been. And I will say that during Heather's cross, as Randy was explaining, she was asking specifically in regards to USAA protocols, because during his factual statement, he had stated that, you know, after 9/11, due to the NDAA and everything, that all banking laws and all kinds of laws were strengthened because of the threat of terrorism. And so in Heather's cross-exam, she was asking specifically in regards to these protocols and what made him feel that he was so safe that you know, that if he entered a routing number and an account number, if it went through, that it was his. And that's why he stated, you know, about the how everything had been strengthened after 9/11.
Right.
And well, I know what I wanted to say too. During the questioning in regards to his factual narratives about his history and how he came to know things about the birth certificate and all, he began to say things about how the court system is actually based on admiralty law, and the government objected. Which I found quite interesting, since we all know, that is true. So, at any rate, Katie, do you have your notebook? You want to talk to BC? Oh, she didn't.
I'm gonna go back ready to get it.
No, give it to her. Have her give it to me right off her head. That's cool.
Oh, okay. All right, hold on. She said, give it to her right out, because me and Lisa feel scrambled.
Maybe Z. Can you hear me?
How you doing? Yep, I can. So
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. You don't need your notes because it's right in you. Just call it back in front of you.
Okay. Well, okay, let me start. Sorry, it's like loud here too. Okay, we started the day by Randy got back up there and the prosecution finished off. Or was it, man, now I feel scrambled too. Who did we start with? Was it Randy or was it the prosecution?
It was Randy.
Well, I know Randy was up there, but was Heather over him?
Don't try to do it in order, because that's what happened.
Okay, that's what I did. I tried to do it in order. Well, basically, when Heather was up there cross-examining, she was clarifying dates Randy had gone through, and he'd written everything down. So they clarified a bunch of dates. She went through and talked more about intent and whatnot, and clarified the fact that it wasn't something that they had worked on together, that they had done. So this is something that Randy had done on his own. Because he talked about the 4th of July and him going to see fireworks, and the next day that's when he did all the transactions for the CDs and to pay off all the debt. And something that I found interesting on that was that he, what was I going to say? That he, the reason why he had, because they kept talking about he had 2 different trust accounts added into his USAA bank account or banking information. So they call it to make a payment, but really you're adding another account in there to pay things off.
Right.
And so he clarified that the reason why there was a second one was because when he purchased the or when he went, because he paid all of his credit cards and all of his loans off first, and then when he went to go buy, the CDs, the same routing number would not work. It kept telling him invalid routing number. So he went on and found, because he took, like, the name of the bank was something along the lines of, like, clearinghouse. He couldn't remember exactly what it was, and he Googled that and found the other routing number, and that's why he added the second one in there. Because what they were trying to paint, what they were trying to frame, was that he had switched one digit of his Social Security number and added that as a second trust. And so he was like, no, that's not what was done, this is what was changed. And in the prosecution, when they came back up on there, they didn't say anything about that. When they had a chance to ask questions on whether or not that was true or false, they didn't even bring it up. So I found that interesting that they didn't try to redirect. On the redirect, they didn't even bring it up.
Right.
So he clarified that so they understood it. A lot of action going on between FBI agents and the prosecution. There was one point when Heather was talking about Duran and how Duran took Randy down at the RV, and how conveniently Duran would happen to get up with another female, I'm assuming sub-agent, and they walked out together the second that they got to that part of the questioning. And so when Heather went to, if they call my name, Heather, bring it over here. We will. And so
we're going to
So when Heather went to ask, is the person who did that to you in this room, obviously, I mean, of course he wasn't there. How convenient, right, that he happened to walk out. And as soon as they were discussing it, he walked back in. And we were like, seriously, he was just here. He just walked out. Like, he just looked up and screamed, he was just here. But of course we can't see that. So I thought that was interesting. Jason Pack was sitting next to Bill today. The last few days they had Duran sitting up there with them. So Duran was sitting back with us, and Pack was up there. And I'm telling you, back and forth, Davidson was writing on notes, handing it to Pack. He was talking to her. He had a cell phone, handed it to Davidson. She had some numbers into it, handed it back to him, and he'd walk out. I mean, it was weird. I just thought that was a weird observation. I also heard, Dave and I heard like a weird beeping noise going on and off. And I remember the second time I heard it, I turned around because there was an agent sitting behind us. I turned around and I stared at them. And a few minutes after I did it, they walked and we got out, and I didn't hear it anymore, at least from that direction. And then I started hearing it in the front and over in the other corner where other people were sitting. And just keep in mind, the only ones that are allowed in there with electronic devices are agents. So that's an interesting note.
Right, and I just want to put something in right here because I'm not sure if some people know this, not that many people know that, but for those who are looking at this case and thinking Christian Alexander's words were little Lulu and stuff like that, make no mistake about it that the CIA and all of the other branches of intelligence in the United States government and every other government, purported governments around the world, have sensitives in their employ. And sensitive meaning clairvoyant, clairaudient. So they have extra sensi, as it's wrongly but normally stated, capabilities. And so there are agents who that's what they're brought in to do. So I just wanted to put that in there with what you're saying.
Right. Yeah, so that to me was extremely interesting and going back and forth. Trying to think more of when she went up to do the redirect at the end. And nothing big is sticking out of my mind. She was trying to get him to say that he knew that it was the Federal Reserve Bank. I don't really understand the significance in that. There was something else that she tried to get him to say, but wasn't able to. And finally, she just dropped it and just moved on to the next thing. She couldn't get to say what she wanted to say.
Right.
But I mean, to me, that was the biggest thing. The weird noises, them going back and forth. They felt really uncomfortable when they were talking about how Randy, just how it all went down. When they showed up at Bloody Greg, they felt very uncomfortable. They were going in and out during that whole situation because they basically, there was one part when Randy said that when he pulled up to the detention facility, the jail, that they would not, the officer said, he's like, I can't admit you. Like, I can't put you in there because we don't have anything on you. He's like, I have no reason to admit you into the jail. And so he tried to say that. Of course, immediately, Savalto jumped up, or it might have been Davidson, I can't remember who, and they were like, objection, you can't testify on what somebody else said. You're only testifying on what you, I don't know, what you said or something like that. And before Heather could even, before she could even give an explanation on the relevancy of it, Barlin already overruled it. Like, he already was like, no, sustained. She was like, am I going to be able to give reasoning on that next time? Like, and he was like, oh, yeah, you can. And you could tell he felt off by doing that. That he was like, kind of like, he felt uneasy on what he had done because he basically just overruled without even giving any explanation on it. So that stuck out to me. I can't really think of anything else. Randy was very strong today. He did a great job at coming back to them. The only thing that because they were really off on dates and certain exhibits they had showed. That's what they're trying to go on. So they're trying to go on the Facebook post saying that he paid everything off before the 4th or before the 5th, because it said something about, the Facebook post referred to him being excited on the 3rd about paying off all his debt. And then it came to our attention here that, like, you can actually go in and edit dates on Facebook to say say whatever date you want to say. So
right. So just to clarify, you're saying that the prosecution is painting dates in a certain way, and Randy and Heather are giving clear and specifics that those dates are incorrect.
Yes, and they keep saying that they're incorrect, and they keep trying to get them to say, oh, no, you did it on the 3rd, oh, no, you did it on the 4th, and they're like, no, it happened this day, it happened on the 5th, like, that's not what occurred.
Right.
And I honestly didn't know you could go in there and change the dates on Facebook. Like, that is something that other people brought up, knowing that you could go in and actually change dates on Facebook. So that
right.
Kind of,
the NSA can do it all the time, too.
Right. Well, and so that kind of puts puts a hole in their I guess in their position, because if anyone can do that, then I'm surely not going to put it past them to go in and do it. So especially the fact that they built a strong argument on that they did not have a valid warrant. Like, Heather did a great job at building a strong argument that the warrant was out of Jasper, Colorado. The warrant was not from Knox or from North Carolina or from anything. It was out of Jasper, Colorado, a place that Randy had never been to.
Well, it doesn't exist. I challenge anybody to look up and find Jasper, Colorado on the map. It does not exist.
Right, exactly. And then even when the agents were up on the street, they even said, they were like, oh, we don't remember seeing it. Okay, so the fact that they don't remember seeing it and they were up there, like, or they were there trying to arrest him, I mean, who does that? Like, who, like, it doesn't make sense. And so Heather did a great job at laying out the details in the back of that event itself. That already kind of shows that they wouldn't put it past them to go in and change evidence if they're not going to make sure they have a valid warrant to go in and get an arrest to begin with anyway.
Right. And what's coming up for after the lunch recess?
So after lunch, Randy he's rested his case, and so now Heather is going to, I believe, go up there and give her opening remarks. She's going to give her opening statement, and then she will go into her factual, the factual statement of the event that occurred.
Great. Okay, great.
So that's where we're at.
Okay, well, take a break and eat some lunch. Thank you very much. And if you guys can give me a call when you come out for just a quick touch base, and then we'll do a Zoom later tonight, okay?
Perfect, we'll do.
All right, thanks so much.
You're welcome, Lucy. See you later.
Bye-bye.
Bye.